Sun in the hills of all this. You're listening to the show, y'all. Come visit, hit the like, if you're new. Ah, shout out to the arena. I want to give a disclaimer on the opinions and views does not reflect that of the arena uncensored, because the arena censored is not just Blackson. So, man, I think Gynocracy Takeover, I think Venkat, I think Trevor, I think In Between, I think Yanga, I think Zanzi. So yeah, I'm going to give Zanzi access to the control boards because I went back and listened, and I get the art of debating. Zanzi, I'm giving you access to the control panel, so there won't be no kicked out. Because me and Zanzi, we're both alphas. We both very fanaticals, and we're both fanatical in our way. I can admit that. So, with that being said, back at the last show, Fire Show. Now, Trevor, you did a drive-by. You talked all this shit about the Democratic Party. You riled up Venkat, and then you left. So you left Venkat holding the bag. But I'm glad it happened the way it did, because we're not a monolithic people. And so now let's get into politics. Democrats are not monolithic and Republicans are not monolithic. When you guys jumped on there talking about the Republican Democrat things, Venkat was because I think the subject became on like homosexuality and all that stuff, and I don't give a fuck about it. That's just me, but it was very important to Venkat, it was very important to MD, it was very important to Gynocracy and Trevor. Me, I don't give a fuck about that. Y'all know I'm more focused on warfare. That's my thing. So, as a Republican, as a MAGA Republican, that is my concern. So, I do understand Trevor and MD's argument and why they felt what they felt about the political parties and how they say we need to vote our interests, but all black people don't have the same interests. Mine is warfare. What me and Zanzi were arguing about is what I'm interested in, what Zanzi is interested in. Now, I think there needs to be a segment because this is where MD comes in, and it was a great conversation. I love that conversation, and it was Trevor. It was great, but it was multiple conversations going on. So there was a conversation on, and there was a politician on. Not conversation on morals, which was the whole homosexuality stance and all that stuff. Now, let me say this. There needs to be another show. Okay, so like Trevor, I'm saying a lot right now. I'm saying a whole lot right now because there's a lot of conversations going on and there's a lot of different interests. Now, it's all the arena. I love it. I want different segments for every. What's going on, pretty lad? What's going on, pretty lad? We all have different. We have. Okay, so let me go back to the Democrat Republican Party. Okay, because there's even people who don't even believe in the Democrat. Let me send an invite because I know, man. Shout out to the sister, man. I loved her show, man. And again, see, this is why. Damn, I'm saying so much right now. I'm saying so much. This is why Ganocracy, we need you in the league because you got some great topics that only you represent because it's I can't, oh God, I can't represent it. Like, yeah, okay, let me give you an example. Last night, Venkat made some good points regarding like the economical side, and so did M20, and the whole moral side. And I think that's the problem I was having with the Lions Den. Those people, because they're religious, are so focused on the morality side of homosexuality. I don't give a fuck. Learn is goddamn warfare. Like I said, when I see goddamn clips of war, man, I hear wolves howling. Or Gynocracy doesn't share that same sentiment. I'm sure MD and Trevor and Venkat and Ganga, I'm sure they don't share that sentiment, just like I don't share the whole morality, and I don't share that. Because the wolves howl in my head when I look at warfare. So I'm a different type of human being. Warmonger. Warrior. That's what I am, and that is what I'm drawn to. So, man, well, I guess one thing at a time, because there's so much things to discuss. Okay, so again, Venkat was discussing economics, which I like economics too. Now, Trevor came on and taunted Venkat about the whole Democratic-Republican thing, and Venkat has some good arguments. It's some very legitimate concerns as far as Venkat was concerned about the whole Democratic-Republican paradigm. Now, notice how when I came in with my interests, international warfare. And Venkat kind of got stuck. Well, I don't know anything about that. So, yeah, a different interest. You see how that works now? Y'all press the one in the chat if y'all get that. Different interests. So, I would never vote for the Democratic Party because there was nothing appealing that sparked my interest. Trump has said we should not be sending on more money to Zelensky. That popped my interest, but that is not Venkat. I don't think that's Trevor's interest, even though Trevor and Venkat disagree, or Venkat and MD disagree on the economics. See, so we're not even monolithic in politics. Even if we're in the same, let's just say hypothetically, me and MD, we're both MAGA Republicans. Trump might say something interests, which I'm sure Venkat can debate as far as economics. But even though we're both in the MAGA party, we both have different interests. Mine is warfare, and I'm sure MD had MD, and MD does have an interest in that too. So again, as black people, and Trevor, which I guess I don't know I don't really know where he stands with the whole Democrat Republican thing, but his thing is more the homosexuality. I mean, you got homosexuals, we don't be able to reproduce. And I hear that, but that's not my priority. Directly, I have people that are gay and lesbian in my family, but it doesn't, that's not my interest. When I go to the polls, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about World War II. World War III. That is my priority concern over any moral stance. Moral stances, and it's not in my top 10 because I am not religious like that. Whole lot. So, which brings me, this is why I'm doing a pop-up show, man. We need an economical show. We need a Therapy Thursday show because I know now Mondays, Trevor, we be talking about Champions Corner. We be talking about debates on SVDL. I think This is just a proposal that we should do a therapy Thursdays with your friend because she's a marriage counselor for that, or maybe a therapy day, because we kind of be all over the place and we want to make sure our guests, your friend, feels comfortable in her topic, because a lot of times when people are not, you're not on a topic that they're there for, they'd be like, okay, well, yeah, it was nice talking to you guys. Well, I gotta go. So we gotta be in tune with what people's interests are. And like I said, I have observed that. Now, Zanzi, when me and him got into it, he was going in a different direction. He was pulling in a different direction. I was pulling in. So yeah, that kind of got blotched up. Shout out to Zanzi. That conversation got blotched up because he was trying to pull it in a different direction. And I think that's what Yanga and MD were asserting to me. I could take a religious person and pull them in a different direction. Now, I mean, that's a good debate tactic, but I find that kind of little disingenuous. That's just me, because I feel like if we're going to battle a topic, I like to stick on the topic, and if somebody tries to in a different direction, I feel like it's like it's you know. Do you like the show last night? Because I was half asleep when I did it. I loved it. I loved it, and we need more shows like that, sis. We need your energy. We need it. We need it. We need it. Thank you, God. Accuracy. Oh, I didn't even see him, man. I'm tripping. So yeah, what I'm saying is, yeah, we need more shows. We need more shows. We need more shows. We need more shows. And like I said, I like the diversity, because it's funny how people come up here and they were like talking about Ben Cat and Trevor. Oh, they got a wrestling show. If you don't like wrestling, then that particular show's not for you. I love wrestling. I love wrestling. I love when I hear Ben Cat and Trevor talk about wrestling, and MD. I love this. So there will be other shows on the arena that's not talking about wrestling. Wednesday, we're going to talk about wrestling Wednesdays and after show stadium. That's what we're going to do. On Mondays, we're going to talk about debates with SVDL, and setting up debates is all going to be about. It's going to be about SVDL business. Hopefully, we can extend the show for Trevor's guests and talk about therapy Thursdays. You know, the more psychological, you know, maybe relationships. I don't know. That means, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, on that topic. Me and Nature Mom, we do our thing with international affairs on Sunday mornings. Yeah, we got plenty more slots to go fill up. Gynocracy, she rules the midnight, and then she be doing her thizzle. You know what I'm saying? She be addressing a whole sector of YouTube that a lot of us didn't even know existed. Like, I didn't know about these people. And that's a whole, and she is she's harboring up, and she's manning the ship. Midnight hour, she's manning that ship. No, first of all, there's people up at midnight. Number two, her kids are asleep, so she's able to concentrate. And I mean, it's a clear show. The audio is beautiful. You know, she don't have to run in the hallway, because when you run in the hallway, you got to I was like, you were talking to her too. But man, great show. This girl is talented. I said girl, this woman is talented. So, man, I'm saying so much. That's why I dropped the name. Right now, I'm saying a whole lot right now. I'm saying a whole lot. Let me just say this. There's so many shows, so I don't worry about it's a war, or it's just we need an economical show. Yeah, that discussion, and I think Ben Cat and MD would be good for that. Of course, me and Trevor jump in. Whoever wants to jump in that conversation. Yeah, we need an economical. Uh, uh, we do need an economical section. Okay. And for the people that came on that show that was crunk, or the show we got it's up to 500 views now. I'm assuming that's the beef sector or the beef, whatever sector that I didn't know about that I'm not tapped into. That's my girl. My girl's gonna handle that. My girl is gonna handle that. She is gonna goddamn for y'all now. Beef sector. She's gonna lure you in, whatever she does at midnight, that's gonna be that. So don't come to Wednesday and be like, oh, they talking about wrestling over. Yeah, we're an eclectic show. So Gynocracy will be running the midnight shift for you people who be up late, because if you YouTubers that be round the clock with this thing, we got something for y'all. So I say that to say this, man. I love the arena. I love the supporters, man. Shout out to everybody. When I say everybody from Gynocracy to Zane, to Trevor, to Yanga, to Trevor, Venkat, to of course, Deacon, Twin, Angel Snub Nub, anybody and everybody has supported the arena first. This person left a comment in my section, black first. Thank you. But I hope you don't think this is my bread and butter. I'm not being condescending. I'm just saying thank you for the views. I want to also thank Gynocracy for that section, and that's her section. That's her business. So I don't take nothing away if y'all want to come B sector and engage Gynocracy here at midnight. So if you see a wrestling show on Wednesday, because again, that's men talking. But we got something for everybody. Now, as soon as goddamn Zenzi licks his moves and they're like, Yanga, what's up, man? You want to join me? Yeah, I'm on the line, baby. Right now. Yeah. Oh, just chopping up, man. I'm giving everybody the layout now, because it's a new layout. I'm letting you, yeah, jump on, man, so we can, we can bounce on this new layout I got. Yanga. So Yanga will be joining us. Let me send him a boom. Let me send Yanga an invizite, in the trizite. How is it I got a faster processor, more RAM, and my computer's running slow? Okay. How the Fizzuk and Trizuk? I don't know. Okay, you guys Yang on the way, man. So yeah, Yanga's on his way, man. So yeah, shout out to Yanga. Shout out to Yanga, who now has access to the control room. So we got one more slot left. We got one slot left, so I have to use it very wisely until I can expand it. Now, in due time, I'll be able to expand, and I think I will be able to have more people. Like I said, we need to fill more days. But yeah, I want to, like I said, so we got Trevor. And shout out to Trevor, man, because Trevor was like, man, I don't know if I want to be associated with all this drama. And Trevor, I'm glad he did, man, because I feel like we can hold down the ship and still have sectors of YouTube come visit the arena and it not placate or reflect on, I don't know, it's, it is, man, we all grown here, We got people, we got deranged fans. We got deranged fans who serve gods that are hitmen, Allah and Jesus, they're now hitmen. And yeah, shout out to them people. Shout out to them people that replay the videos and keep up the drama. Yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to all three of y'all. Shout out to the puppet and the puppet master, and shout out to the shout out to SVL, shout out to Angel, shout out to shout out to everybody. Shout out to all them other shows that stream the arena, which I don't even know who you guys are because I'm not tapped in, because I will be bringing some more people from the political sector, international sector, and me myself. These are people who are not in the black sector. I want to say more in the international, European, or Arab sector of the world. And yeah, I want to challenge them because you got some pro Zelensky Nazis out there. And so yeah, I definitely want to invite them who have drink the Nazi Kool-Aid. I definitely want them on the show because I want to challenge them on their whole ideology that they're being fed by the mainstream media about the whole Ukraine. I think Yanga is having some trouble getting on. I think Yanga might be having some trouble getting on here. Anywho, yeah, I just want to give y'all the lineup, the new structure, the new, and like I said, we need more layouts because the shows, I don't want the conversations to be so boggled up because, like I said, I want to see Blackson destroy someone who's really pseudo as fuck, but it seems you have no patience. So that's more Yanga's thing on the pseudo, because with pseudo, so with my debates, I receive like actually full of documentations and journals and Yanga has joined us. What up, Yanga? What's good, Yanga?
What's up, man? What's up, baby? What's going on, man?
So I wanted to give you, so we had a show last night.
Oh, yeah, I was traveling.
No,
so
that's why I want to keep you up to date, but I want to keep you up to date. So we had a show last night, which was very good, and then Gynocracy had another show at midnight was fire. So I'm like, okay, so now it's like, okay, then where do I start? It's so much shit. Though I love it, but it's like, okay, let me give you an example. Okay, so it was me, MD, Gynocracy, Trevor. Oh yeah, me and Zanzi, we fell out again, but it's cool. It was a 4-hour show, so it's a breakdown. If you need some entertainment, there's enough. If you're traveling a long distance area, just those 2 shows will keep you entertained, brother.
Okay, it's good to know. Now I got that.
Yeah,
you and Zanzi stay on the. What was the show about last night?
Okay, so the show was about. It was 4 hours long, so you had multiple conversations. So the show started off with the Ukraine discussion. So me and Zanzi got out about the Ukraine thing, about the Constitution, about we got out about that. So now, Zanzi was lit and informative. But we were, I think what, and this is why the war started, Gynocracy. Please jump on Gynocracy, because we have 2 different takes on the Constitution. So I'll get to that. So anyway, me and him fell out, but that was not the crux of the show, though, Yanga. Then after Zanzi got off, then Gynocracy came on, and I think Trevor came on. and then they discuss politics, but in the realm of morality, homosexuality, and it began to, I realized at that moment, Yanga, even if we're in the same, let's just say hypothetically we're both in the same party, whether it be Democrat or Republican, Black Democrats and Republicans are not monolithic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so where do I start? Okay, so Trevor began to antagonize Venkat because he's saying, oh, you know, the Democratic Party, they're all about homosexuality and non-reproduction, you know, giving this moral argument, right?
Yeah. Who said that? Venkat? Venkat said that.
No.
Trevor said
that. Yeah, Trevor came from a preacher standpoint of view, like, oh, homosexuality.
What is Trevor, Republican? What is Trevor, Republican or something?
Now, that I don't know. I just know he was antagonizing Venkat. That's all I don't know. I'm not sure, so I don't want to, you know, Trevor, shout out to you, man. When you hear this, you can clarify that at another time. So, but he was antagonizing Venkat about being a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, MD comes on and he brought up the economical argument, being a MAGA Republican, which I agreed with. And then Venkat got, you know, he was all riled up. So by the time Venkat came on, Trevor had the lead. So we were stuck with Venkat arguing from a Democratic progressive argument from morality, which I agree with him, but it's not my priority. Does that make sense?
You asking me, does that make sense?
I was saying, okay, so Venkat was arguing from a stance of morality, from a Democratic standpoint. I agree with it, but it's not my priority. Does that make sense? Yeah, you know, war's my priority. Yeah, international warfare is my priority. And so,
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that show. It sounds like that was hot.
It was hot. It was hot. But it got like 200 views too, man. It was hot.
Okay.
But the point is, Venkat was holding the bag, and so he went by himself because Trevor riled him up and then left. And so he was arguing from a Democratic moral standpoint, which I agree with, but it's not my priority. But he was talking about why we should vote for the Democratic Party. And so I challenged him on warfare, and he drew a blank. And I realized I had an epiphany right there. I said, damn, that's not his interest. So even if we're both Democrats, we would not have the same interest because his is morality, mine is warfare, international warfare and politics. So because when I asked him about the coup d'etat and all that, Venkat drew a blank. He said, well, Blackson, I don't know nothing about that. But he was he got on the soapbox and talked about why we should vote Democratic and we shouldn't basically be the bedroom police and, you know, all this stuff. And I agree with him on that, but that's not my priority. My priority is to stop World War III.
Okay.
You know, that makes sense. Yeah. So
it makes sense. My whole thing, I think my position, had I had the opportunity to be on there, would have been, I think it's foolish for black people to pledge allegiance to any one party. We should be independent, and we should let both parties cater to our specific needs. We're arguing other people's politics. You know what I'm saying? If I wouldn't pledge blind allegiance to any party, Democrat, or why we should vote Democrat. Why? Explain again. Why should we vote Republican? Explain that to me. How does it specifically address the needs of us as a people? You know, I think too much blind allegiance goes into that. We vote Democratic. Most black people that I know anyway, when they first begin to vote, they're taught to vote Democrat. When in doubt, go to Democrat route type thing. If you get in the booth, just vote a Democrat. Yeah, to me, too much blind allegiance. So both of them suck if they're not addressing the issues of us, you know, politically. My thing is, how do these policies, international and national or domestic, affect us directly as a people? You know. So yeah, I know I'm gonna go back and listen. I probably will agree and disagree with both of them. You know how we
Yeah,
get
and
out. I'm
that's
like,
right. So then now I
sure.
got to challenge you, gang. I got to challenge you.
Yeah. Come on.
So how many people, and let's just say black YouTube land, are concerned
Hmm.
about the Ukraine-Russia war?
Probably. I don't know. I don't think very many, and that's just my opinion.
Right?
I don't
No,
think
no, you're
very
right.
many.
No, you're
Hmm.
right. You're right. You're right.
Hmm.
So that's like my top priority as a black man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, I agree with it. Malcolm X said that a long time ago, man. We should vote
Yeah.
independently. So my interest, which is my number one interest, may not be the interest of black people. Some black people, their interest is, and Trevor, I'm just going to use it as an example. I'm not saying this is your
Hmm.
number one. He feels like homosexuality is a problem in the black community and you can't be able to reproduce. Now, in a
Hmm.
sense, I agree with that, but is it my priority? No.
Right.
I'm not the bedroom police, so I don't care. I understand his argument. I don't disagree with
Hmm.
him. Is a priority? No. Am I going to prioritize it? No.
Hmm.
Am I going to be thinking about that if I go vote? No.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not my, and then Big Cat makes some good points about, Trump said grab him by the pussy. He was so bothered by that.
Hmm.
I'm not bothered by that. Trump
Hmm.
said something that I can relate to. He said, we need to stop giving money to Zelensky. That
Hmm.
$6.4 billion could have went towards our homelessness, our economic system.
Hmm.
So Trump can say, grab him by the pussy 1,000 times, it's going to go one and out the other. The minute he talks about, we need to stop giving aid to Ukraine, my ears poke up. That is my interest. So what I'm trying to tell you, Yanga, is that the black community and I don't have the same interest when it comes to my top political concerns. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree. To a degree,
Okay,
it's up
to
to
a
people
degree.
like you. Yeah, it's up to people like yourself to show us why that's relative or why that's pertinent to us as a community. No, it's not. They're not going to have the same interest because their investment in internationalism may not be the same. Like a lot of black people is like, fuck both of them. Ukraine and
That's
Russia.
true.
How does that affect us directly? So you have to
Right.
show about international policies. I go through that a lot of times, like with Haiti's. It amazes me how you have the first free black republic, former enslaved people shaking off the yokes and shackles of slavery, become a free republic, and we sit and watch the world destroy Haiti's economically, politically, socially, culturally, in every kind of way, and we don't raise a fuss.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing. So us as black people, we're so bogged down and caught up into our immediate affairs, and our immediate affairs, not even as a collective, but our immediate affairs as an individual. That international power, Ukraine and Russia. You know what I'm saying? And even I would even say to Trevor, certain people, homosexuality. Okay, but niggas ain't eating. Niggas are homeless. Nigga, you worried about you got to worry about who got a dick in their mouth. So
Right.
some people it's about prioritizing. Me, I'm a black nationalist, and therefore part of black nationalism is a unification and the solidarity of black people. So if you ask my personal opinion, I think that how I prioritize things, especially in my political actions or my political beliefs, are how they affect us as a collective. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I measure. But, they've done a real number on us. And you see that reflected in our political actions and our political activities, our social, cultural interactions with one another. You really see the number done on us. And that's why we have these debates, whether homosexual, whether internationalism, Trump hound about, grab by the pussy. They play emotional politics with us. Trump's a racist. Oh, you can't vote for him. You remember Dougie?
That's right.
H bill, that House Bill 44, which I went back, man, that thing got like 3,000 views. That House Bill 40 that we went on when we was on Dougie's show about the legislation. So I said all that to say, we play emotional politics, and that's what they do. They know that our political understanding, our political knowledge is limited at best. You know what I'm saying? As a majority, I'm not saying all of us as black people. Some of us are very astute, but as a majority, our political knowledge is limited. So they play emotional politics with us. Trump's a racist. Bill Clinton's the first black president. Oh, we got a black president. He got his dick sucked in the White House and plays a saxophone. All this old monkey shit.
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
Shout out to VinCat, but VinCat was doing a lot of that last night.
But they all, I'm gonna have to go back and listen.
Shout out to VinCat. That's my boy.
Shouts out to VinCat. Shouts out to VinCat. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it, man. Shouts out. But who doesn't do it? It sounds like Trevor was doing it also, just from listening to what homophobic politics. Homophobic politics.
We're both, and that's why
Black Jesus Smith. But you find that out of the religion. That's why he, could be leaning right or far right. You find that out of the religious community. Wasn't Black Jesus, Buddha Muhammad doing the same thing? What's the moral stance? What about the homosexuals? What about, and we're being murdered by police. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you got inflation, you got homelessness. So to me, that just isn't too, I'm like you, I'm not the bedroom police. So when I look at 5 black misguided police officers kill a black man, pardon me if another Negro being with another Negro is not the top of my list. I want to know why black men feel like because they put on a police uniform, it's okay to kill one of us. That's the type of shit that's on the top of my list. But to each his own. So I'm a big adversary of emotional politics. I think black people do too much emotional damn politics.
Right. And I wish, and that's why I want to, hold on, I'm walking. Okay. Yeah, and I'm not saying, and you know what, Yang, this is so complex because I'm not trying to control it. Now, just me. I'm gonna speak for me. It's just Blackson. The Blackson does not reflect that up here in nonsense. I am not judgmental if people are drawn in by emotional politics. That's on them. We're all going through that. So I'm not gonna vote for Trump. He said grab by the pussy. Okay, then you roll with that. But don't expect me to roll with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It makes sense, and like you said, you can't be mad at it. But I ask myself, how much sense does it make? Because Trump can be as racist as he wants to be. He can be as grabbing by the pussy as he wants to be. But if it advances his cause, he will hire a black woman and grab her by the pussy to get her to do the job. You hear me? It's like, how far will we allow our emotions to dictate our actions? Right. How long will we allow emotions to either be a hindrance or, sometimes if emotions are used properly, it can be beneficial, but how long will we allow emotions to be a hindrance to the advancement of black people with our opinionated asses? And I think that's, like I said, there again, I'm being very opinionated because this is my opinion, but that's my guideline. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I don't necessarily agree with Trump saying grab him by the Kit Kat or doing all of this extra stuff, but I think that whether I supported Trump or didn't support Trump would definitely depend more on a damn statement about him being an asshole.
Right. Right. And black people are not the only ones that fall for emotional politics. White people, you get to learn and see what that shit too. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's for them. I know we're just talking about black people, but
no, but you're right. You're right. But when you live in a society where it's not, they're in emotional politics to a degree. But that's a whole nother discussion because it's emotional politics a lot of times, but it really has sway. You know what I'm saying? And then their emotional politics, they have a stop. You think the far right like all this homosexual stuff going on? But they're capitalists. So they'll put their emotional politics and they'll sell Jesus Christ. Now sissies are getting married in the church. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that you wouldn't judge. That's probably something you probably wouldn't see a lot of black churches, especially historical or traditional black churches, embracing, and I don't care how much you pay them. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's based on our emotion and sentiment. That's why I said at some point in time, your emotion couldn't be advantageous. Your emotion will give you a stance. It will make you principled at times. But you look at this white man, why I say they don't do a lot of emotional politics, because they'll go against their very emotion to advance what they feel like is their cause. And I use the homosexual cause as one of them. Right. Look at the governor. We talked about that House bill. I forget what it is, 40-something we did that show on. Yes, now, the governor was dead set against it. He was dead set against that homosexual bill. He wasn't going to pass that joint. He said everything in the world. When Coca-Cola and them corporations put that pressure on them, if you don't pass this bill giving these homosexuals certain rights, we're pulling our companies out of your city, out of Atlanta. Shit, where did he put his emotions? In his damn pocket and pass that bill? Negroes be like, I don't give a damn what you do. I don't care. Ain't gonna be no sissies there. And then, so that's what I mean, I don't care. So, so I mean, it's it's a way thing. I'm not saying don't have emotions. I'm not saying don't be principled. What I'm saying is, what are those principles based on? I wouldn't base my principles on my emotions, because sometimes my emotions can be erroneous. I can be misled by my emotions. So that's the point that I'm making. Not really taking a side either way, just saying, looking at us as a people, I don't believe in emotional politics. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't like what's going on. I can't dig it. But I'm one person in the collective of people. And I ain't gonna let nobody trick me into voting for no Donald Trump, or I'm not gonna let anyone trick me out of voting for him if it isn't based on real advancement for Black people.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
So then, let me ask this question. So, just like, I will make fun of people who really don't know about Black nationalism. I tell them, oh, yeah, you're creating a Black fantasy island. You're creating this utopia.
Yeah.
And you're laughing. Can I make the same argument as far as voting in the same block? Because I think what I'm saying is, I think the top 5 lists may not line up as Black people. Especially with me and you. I would say this. I'm going to say this to the world, because I've had this conversation many times. I feel like me and you are the only true Black nationalists on YouTube, simply because we understand modern Black nationalism through Malcolm X. I don't know of any other means of Black nationalism. The only other Black nationalist after Malcolm X I am aware of is Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And even his was not. He was an
ultra Black nationalist. Yeah, he was ultra Black nationalist.
He was more of a, I'm just gonna keep it real. Dr. Khalid Muhammad was a Black supremacist.
Yeah.
I love him. He's a Black supremacist, bro.
He is a Black supremacist. Yeah, he was a Black supremacist.
So he was a Black supremacist.
Yeah.
He understood Malcolm's Black nationalism, but no, he took it to Black. It was a fine line between Black nationalism and Black supremacy. Dr. Muhammad was a Black supremacist.
I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that.
And I love it. Brother was more man.
Oh yeah. So, but I mean, his ideology is his ideology. His philosophy is his philosophy. I call it ultra Black nationalism or Black supremacy. I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
I say that to say this shit. That I think our top 5 will line up. I don't think it'll line up. Meaning, I think now the closest me, you and MD are the closest that line up to what, as far as my political agendas are going. But everybody else, let me just say, with MD and Trevor, I don't think we will. No, MD. No, not MD. No, because me and MD are we equal on the reparations. I love, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But as far as let me say like Venkat and Trevor, I don't agree with Venkat or Trevor, because Trevor's on the whole moralistic thing, and Venkat's on the whole emotional thing. Like I said, with the Beverly's, the Delmos, that is, to me, that's ultra left, and Trevor's on the ultra right. Oh no, homosexuals should be there. Those are not on my, talking about the homosexuality And Trump grabbing pussy is not even on my top 10. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. 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 I can get it. I can get it.
You can dig it,
But
right? Okay, yeah.
I can dig it. I think one of the ways though is, all of them to a certain degree are really interrelated. Okay, here's my whole thing. I'm hoping I can say this in such a way that it's understandable or it's understood. I think our first thing is an identity issue. I think one of the first things we have to come to understand is who we are in our position. Point number 5 of the Black Panther Party for self-defense says we want a true history that teaches the decadent nature of this society and the black man and woman's place in this society. I think that is very important. And when you address things as, if you look at yourself as a black African here in America or a melanated person in America, then you begin to operate from that standpoint. What is the best for you there? If you don't see yourself there, we're never going to agree, because some of us going to be repatriationists, some of us going to be separatists, some of us going to be extreme revolutionaries that feel like you got to do it like this, got to do it like that. But when you look at yourself as a black American, you begin to address the politics as such. Like, white people are diverse. They all don't agree on the same thing, but what they do agree on is that they're American. So they're going to do political, they're going to vote and move in the best way that they feel is right for America. And I say, by us not moving collectively, we vote and move as individuals or as individual Americans, and nobody does that but us. The Mexican Americans don't do it, the Italian Americans don't do it, white America doesn't do it. We are the only people that think that we can do independent politics, that we can participate in American politics, not as a collective. And this is why we have all the, in my opinion, of course, the back and forth between us. Like I said, white people, every other ethnic community is just as diverse, but they move politically as an ethnicity in America: Italian American, Mexican American, white American. So I think once we look at it from that perspective as a melanated people in America, black American, African American, I hate to put a specific distinction or a title on us, because then you got these Negroes, nigga, I'm a Moor, nigga, I'm a Muslim, all this old monkey ass semantics. But moving collectively like that, then I think that would begin to help us to start prioritize, So, because everything, like Fred Hamp Sr. said, co-chairman of the Black Panther Party for self-defense under Huey, he said, politics is everything and everything is politics. So then we will begin, when we move like that, we will begin to see how it all works in correlation. You know what I'm saying? How the we would be surprised how homosexuality ties into the medical day. You know what I'm saying? Medicines go at this, so everything is interrelated. But since we move as individuals, we think the issues are individual issues and not issues concerning black Americans. I think that we really have to embrace that there are different Americans, different Americas for different people.
You said that because we actually got on an interrelated topic yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And it almost got kind of heated because, so when we got on the homosexual thing, Gynocracy talked about certain people being born that way. And you know me, I came in with the nutrition part, and then MD came in with the economical part. All tied in. 3 different discussions, but it all tied in.
Exactly.
Because initially Trevor brought up what he has problem with the homosexual part, and then it was like a chain effect. MD came in, so Trevor came in with, hold on, let me slow down. Younger, Trevor came in with the homosexual component.
Right.
Democracy came in and said, there's certain people born that way. Came in with the diet, and then MD came in with the financial.
Right. I'd have came in with the social cultural influences.
Right. And so it's a beautiful conversation, right? Beautiful conversation. And so with all that being connected, I ain't even see Tyler Nicholson. MD and Gynocracy, I hope y'all can get on here because I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't even know who this person is. So
what are they saying? What's going on?
Okay, so gynocracy and
Shouts out Gynocracy. I can't
yeah,
see the chat, man. So
yeah.
I'm
Okay,
kind of
so
moving around.
gynocracy and MD20 said something about Tyree Nichols. I don't even know who that is.
Tyree Nichols is the one that got killed by them 5 black pigs, black police officers.
Oh, okay. So police
Yeah,
brutality. Okay, police brutality.
police murder. Yeah,
Okay,
by
police
black.
murder.
So the conflict is so what
He
these
got
white
murdered
folks
by
are
black
trying.
police officers. They weren't.
But
Oh, they
so
were black.
the white folks are trying to make that a conflict. Yeah. The white folks are trying to make that a conflict. Oh, he was black, so does race really play a part in that since they were black police officers? And I say absolutely, because when you become a police officer and when you adapt that mentality, you are not black or white, you are blue. And all of us are subject to police suppression and repression. The police are armed wing of this fascist state called America. That's exactly
Okay.
what they are. So
Okay.
they're not gonna throw that. They're not gonna throw that black man. Oh, black man killed black man. Nah, buddy. When you put on that badge, you blue.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Oh, this is what I was going to ask Buddha minister. But he gave his answer. Does police murder exist in other places around the world?
Yes. Yes.
So we're not looking. So are we looking for utopia again?
No, it's not about utopia, but we have to ask why the murders happen. Do they murder because of someone's skin complexion? Or is it political repression? Is this it? Police murder happened to us because we're criminalized off the rip. And when black people kill us like that, one, because they've bitten into the whole dehumanization, denigration, criminalization of the black male image. Also, I believe it's part of a psychological effect to separate themselves from being black. It's like Ice Cube said, they'll slam you down to the street top, black police showing out for the white cop. It's this effort to show white police officers or white America, I'm not going to be influenced. I'm not going to be biased because his skin looks like mine. In fact, I'll drag this nigga worse than you will. Give me the opportunity, boss. It's that type of thing. So police murders happen around the world, but why? Why? Are other people in jeopardy? Are other people in jeopardy of dying because they're melanated? A traffic stop can be deadly for us. And I don't know if that's the same. It may be the same around the world, and it may because it is. Some people die for religious repression. Some people in one regime will kill other people in another, other ethnicities. Saddam Hussein, for example, he gassed the Kurds. But when he did that, it was a world cry. Oh, how are the Persians, how are the Arabs gassing the Kurdish people and this and that? And when America does it to black people, the world is silent.
Okay. Ooh, man. Danga, get your coffee. Yeah. Get in the good reception because Gynocracy and MD about to come on here with some fire.
Come on. I'm in a pretty good reception place.
Okay, good. Yeah. Hopefully, because I'm gonna need you to have the reception. It's about to go down. Mm-hmm. It is about to go down. Because Gynocracy wants to finish the whole. She said, give me a sec. I'm researching the intersex chromosome blood test I was speaking on yesterday. Oh, but see, this is what I mean. I gotta carry on other people's conversations, other people's
Yeah. We need, who I'd like to see come on? Gynocracy's coming on with that. Let me send a shout out there to our religious community. I like to see somebody from the religious community talk about God, because she made a good point. She believes people are born that way. I know religious people say that would be saying that God is making a mistake. Can we get somebody? Hey, Lions Den, where y'all at? Black Hebrews, Black Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad. I'd love to see you come on and address. Are people born homosexual? Did God make a mistake if you believe as such? That'll be an interesting conversation.
I think so. And because my girl's Team Marina, I'm gonna have to goddamn root for goddamn Gynocracy.
You know how Team Marina is. I'm always on Gynocracy side, but you know how Team Marina is. You got to bring your facts. You got to bring the argument.
I got confidence. Just like DMT got confidence in Kasha, I got confidence in Gynocracy.
Man, all day.
Now,
I would just love to see that debate.
Yeah, right. I would love to see it too. Now, just like, okay, so like, I mean, people may not believe this. Vanity is Team Arena. But y'all see, I will challenge him on some shit, just like he would challenge me on some shit. And that's why the war comes.
But I was going to say, let me jump in real quick. But I think that's what makes the arena unique. We're not a cult. You can come on here. We're gonna go at each other, but we got each other's back. Like, we tighter than five fat freaks in a phone booth on 5th Street. You understand what I'm telling you? So we got each other's backs, but we will challenge one another. And this is what makes us strong over here. We're not yes men over here. Our women, y'all not gonna say our women. we're not yes people. Son, you there? Did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. No. You're good. You can hear you going good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, man, y'all have all the good, interesting conversations, and I'm traveling. I bet that was a hot show there, boy.
It was, man. But that's all why I always call you. I keep you updated. I always keep you updated sure that way. You don't ever get blindsided. You can never say
my minister of information.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
You will never say Black Son. You never inform me what's going on. So I always keep you up to date, man. And again, and I'm gonna let you know, especially when it comes to the arena. And like I said, the arena, like I said, and I told the beat sectors that I appreciate the views they gave us. That's not my target audience. However, we got somebody for that. Shout out to Gynocracy. She got a midnight show, and yeah. And I said,
it's hot.
Black Sun does not reflect that of Gynocracy. I'm not the arena. The arena's all of us.
I think if anything that we do at the arena, we try to practice to the best of our ability, fair and balanced speech and information. Come on in and say your thing. This is the place to do it. If you come up here and you got a view, this is the place to do it. And I wanted to address that beef sector. I was thinking about that. I don't know if we're going into the beef sector, this and that. I would call us the challenge sector. We just challenge bullshit. If it's beef, we address what comes up. We're not looking to go at anybody, but if you say something about us or say something that's wrong, we're just going to address the issue. I don't like to turn it in like these suckers that keep my name in their mouth trying to get clicks and stuff like that. Man, cut it out, man. Look, that's long past. We didn't address all those little petty punk issues. If y'all still on that, be stuck there. We're going to go on to the next challenge, to the next topic, to the next whatever. And that's just how we roll. And unfortunately, what happens, you have people who are bored or people who want a challenge, and they say that's the place to be. So, we try to rise to the occasion. I hope we don't disappoint. You know what I'm saying? I hope we don't disappoint.
Right.
That's all it is. But that's not our forte. We're not trying to get clicks off of going back and forth with people. But we will rise to the occasion. We're not going to run from a challenge either.
Right. Absolutely. That's a fact. Man, because if these people get all bent out of shape for what we've been doing, just in these. Imagine if we get a King Noble on here.
Oh, you want to talk black supremacy? We got to find Noble. We got to find King Noble. To me, he has been, outside of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, he has been one of the premier black nationalists that I've come across. Now, do I agree with everything he said? No. Am I endorsing him as a person? I don't know him like that, but I will say his views and opinions are very interesting, and a lot of times even worthy to discuss and to examine, and sometimes to try to tear apart. Just depends. But Noble, man, King Noble, he's a beast with it. He is a beast with it. He is controversial. That's to say the least. He's controversial as hell. He is controversial as shit.
And we have never been on this hit list, man. For all the people.
Hey, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, we have never been on this hit list, man.
Mm-hmm.
Never. Mm-hmm. Even if asked,
yeah, we saved his, like, I'm going to put it out there. We saved his life. We're going to put it out there. We called them brothers. Damn near had them surrounded. We're like brothers. Come on, because the man made an opinion. So now we're to the point where people can't even express their views, no matter how stupid we may feel they sound. I don't think it's worthy of us murdering someone or beating someone up in front of their children. Especially, And shouts out to those brothers, but especially the brothers of that caliber and had such status in the community. Nah, don't reduce it to that, because then it makes your argument look stupid. It makes us look barbaric. Oh, we can't discuss anything intellectually. We can't agree intellectually. We got to go straight to the violence now. So nah. But so maybe that's why we never got on this hit list. We told her, hey man, no, that's silly. Like the interview I did with him in the park, I'm like, whoa. And we'll go back and forth. But attacking his person physically or attacking his character personally, we're just above that. But we will beat the hell out of your ideology and your philosophy if it sounds crazy. It's just that simple. So that's for all of y'all out there. Don't take it personal, but if you step up, we gonna come at it. It's just that simple. And we'll let y'all go to the other stuff, because we know that we will stomp you intellectually, ideologically, philosophically, and any other way. You will have to resort to personal attacks. I guarantee it. You come at us, we're going to make you talk about our mamas, because you're not going to be able to get us anywhere else.
Or we're going to make you look up our government names.
Yeah, look up. Yeah, I had a sucker so shook. I wanted the sucker to remember my name. He went and got my government. I said, okay.
Well, be careful what you ask for, Jaeger. Be careful what you ask for. You didn't say your name.
I said, you ain't say my name. You gonna remember me. That sucker got in the chat and called out my government. Hey, listen. The first thing I had to say, I've never been ashamed of my government. Secondly, I was a little bit honored, because I did say you was gonna remember me. I didn't know you was gonna go back to what my mama called me. I'm gonna remember your name. Shouts out to Dr. Icky.
Right, Dr. Icky.
I still want to smoke, Dr. Icky. I still want to smoke.
And I still want that conversation from Black Buddha Ministry. I still want Black Buddha Ministry from here, man. Hey, MD, what's going on, man?
What's up, MD?
Peace. What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Man, I heard you was bringing that file last night.
Yeah. We had a great discussion yesterday, man. This last end of the week, man, was just been fight. I don't know what the hell, man.
Right.
But I wanted to come on, man. Yeah, this Tyree Nichols thing it's an interesting dynamic. Like when we think about how we're perceived, not just to ourselves, but from a in politics they call a situation like this a critical plot, where it's a moment where it's almost like we're forced to take a side politically in terms of our social viewpoint and challenging others for hypocrisy, because I see it. So of course, this happened, I believe, like the beginning of the year, actually. But, nothing ever surfaced about it. It was an internal investigation. So everything basically came out yesterday. Well, they charged them. It was Thursday when they charged the cops, I believe. And that's where we learned that these were 5 black dudes that did this. You know what I mean? And, of course, you had your usual suspects. You had your Ben Crumps coming in. And I was confused as to why. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Why is Ben Crump here in Memphis? I didn't know the dynamic at first. I thought maybe it was an accidental death. So they released a video yesterday. And if you haven't seen that video, it's disturbing to watch. But if you haven't seen
the video. I haven't seen the video.
The video. So when we talk about these 5 black dudes, and briefly, I want to discuss afterwards something that you said, Yang, in terms of a blue mentality. You know what I mean? In terms of culturally, as police, especially in urban areas, race really doesn't take an effect, because you have something to uphold somewhat in terms of the viewpoint of what being a police officer is, but we'll talk about that later. So, but these 5 black dudes, these weren't your average 5, and we live in Atlanta, so we definitely know a lot of black cops. These is just really like niggas with government jobs. You know what I mean? And I want to talk about that too, because And what's funny is I was watching Newsmax last night, and they had a guy on there, and he actually brought this up, and I was like, man, like he hit the bell like spot on. So these five black dudes, they were basically fumbling, bumbling idiots, is what they were. So what happened was they were trying to subdue this guy. They stopped him initially for a traffic stop. It was they tried to say it was reckless driving, but the dude got out and started running. So they chased him down, whatnot, and now we're talking about five cops. They struggled with trying to get him down. So it got to the point where they started using tasers, pepper spray, and this dude would not go down for whatever reason. Me personally, I think he was on something, but that's just me speculating. So it got to a point where they were all huddled around this dude, trying to get him down. Everybody pulled out pepper spray, and started spraying. People know when you use pepper spray, you really want to stand 5 to 6 feet back while you're spraying. But they were all huddled around this guy, and each was spraying pepper spray. They initially sprayed each other in the eye with the pepper spray. So they walking around, the dude's still on the ground. Yeah, the dude's still on the ground. He's not subdued. He's not detained. He don't have cuffs on. They walking around trying to get the pepper spray out their eye. One of the guys got mad, and they got several angles with the body cam footage of each officer. One of the officers, they showed his body cam. He was walking away from the guy, trying to rub the pepper spray out his eye. He got mad as hell. He told everybody else to watch out. He pulled out his extender pole and began to wail on this dude's head several. That's why I say it's kind of hard to watch. Wail on this dude cranium basically several times with the extender pole. And after all that was said and done, they still didn't subdue him. They just left him there basically to die. And so other officers arrived on the scene, and then they began to talk about what had just took place. And if you listen to the conversation, and it's all on tape, all the audio is on there. If you listen to this conversation, it don't sound like cops talking. These sound like niggas on the corner talking about how they just beat somebody ass.
Gang of niggas.
Yeah. So to Yanga's point, I do understand it's a certain mentality that police officers have, despite whatever race they are, that they have some type of superiority when it comes to me being able to manhandle you, right? But this is a special dynamic because this wasn't an instance where these were cops from the country coming into the inner city. No, these were black dudes that lived in that town. These were black dudes that were raised in Memphis. So we have to look at the point where. Give me a second. My bad. I'm sorry.
Hey, he said. Now, MD said something until he comes back. He said something that was spot on for me. Because I'm from the Midwest,
Right.
and there's white people basically. And when I came to Atlanta, he was right. I went through a thing. I really learned what neocolonialism was. I had never seen so many Negroes in the place, in a place where it could be advantageous for black people, but that had taken on the mentality and even the actions of the oppressor, blackface in white place. It shocked me. First time I got pulled over in Atlanta, and the cop pulled me, let me see your ID. I was like, all right, brother, I ain't your brother. You know what I'm saying? You don't know my mother. I knew I was in trouble then. I'm still calling for a supervisor. Can I have the white supervisor, please? Because your black ass is going to be a problem for me. You know what I'm saying? I need somebody that, is going to be talking with some sense because, brother, you're overdoing it. It's not that major, So, yeah, he's right. In Atlanta, I had seen it, and I'm interested to hear where he's going to go, like he said, because these weren't average pigs. These weren't average police. They were from that community. They were, from Memphis. However, man, I still will, maintain the standpoint that when you dawn on especially we're talking right now about the police. When you don on police uniforms and everything, there's a certain attitude, a certain sense of authority that comes with it, and it removes them from a race consciousness. And for a lot of them, um, that's exactly what they want. They want to be removed from that race affiliation. Whether it's sometimes their intentions are good though. That's what's crazy. I know it sounds crazy. Sometimes their intentions is to show the world that black people can rise above niggerism, and I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? But in there trying to show it, they get zealous. They want to kill niggas. You know what I'm saying? They get upset and they want to destroy the nigger, not as an ideology, as a philosophy, but in the person, in the body of that. And I think that that's where they go too far in trying to separate themselves from us as a people.
Okay, so I'm glad we're having this
All right, I'm
discussion.
back. I'm back.
Okay, go ahead.
No, no. So real quick, so take that example into consideration, right? With those cops, with us living in majority black towns and cities, where else do you see that type of mentality outside of law enforcement? Give me an example.
Shit, gangs in the hood.
What about the DMV?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
DMV,
yeah,
yep. Social,
yeah.
What about the Social Security office?
Yep.
Everywhere you put us in position of authority, and these be the same chicks that was on welfare 2 months ago. Get them a job, and they be handling, they be handling
Right.
people. You right. I don't
So
care where you go.
it's something.
The librarian, anything you give us authority, we just it's something about that HNIC, that head nigga in charge syndrome.
Right. And that's my point. And it was a guy on Newsmax last night that actually pointed this out. He said that black people have a mentality when they get into these governmental positions, no matter how low a position it is, feel like there's some type of gatekeeper to said government, whether it be local, state, or federal.
Wow, wow.
And again, it goes back to the crab and barrel type mentality. So we have to break this down from that aspect. And that's not to take away what Yang said initially, because that aspect is true. There is a certain aura when it comes to the blue mentality. There's no doubt. But when the Negro gets into those positions, it's boosted times 10 because it goes back epigenetically to those niggas in that house, in that slave house.
Come on, boy. You breaking it down now. You just really just added to my argument. That is so heavy. That is true. I totally concur with that, MD. You are right. It's something about black people getting in a position of authority, especially if they think they're working for the people that had the power, that give them that authority. You're absolutely right.
Right. In the chat I wrote, if you remember, I'm gonna get you sucker with Kalinga. With the white woman when
With the
when
white
he went in
woman,
there.
right?
Yeah. I put in the chat, yeah, when he was talking about the brothers went down to the government building. They went
came out
into
with
the building
jobs.
with, yeah, they came out with jobs.
Right. They went to take over the building and came out with jobs. That's right. Listen, that is so true because it happened in Cleveland. Carl Stokes, the mayor, when they had the uprising in Cleveland, they sent in the mayor Carl Stokes, or Carl Stokes to quell it. And one of the things that some of the leaders of the uprising, the rebellion, end up with city jobs, and they hired so many of them Negroes that they had to put desks in the hallways of the Capitol. He hired so many Negroes they didn't even have offices. He had desks put in the hallway to quell the uprising. He gave the Negroes jobs.
Right.
So like situation.
And that could have been a good thing, but like MD is saying, we forget the mission. Okay, we got the job, we're in a position of authority and power now, but for some reason we won't take it for ourselves. We will be the gatekeepers of those who give it to us. We get very grateful. That sense of not a sense of, oh man, I'm finally in the door, I can make some change for my people. We're thankful. Oh, thank you for the job, master. I'll show you. Let me show you that you gave a job to the right nigga, you know.
But in Yami, this is why I always stress the end game.
Inyame. Where's Inyame at?
Inyami's in the chat. Yeah, he's in the chat.
What's up,
Man.
Inyame?
Join
Oh, I
the
wish I could see this.
conversation, Yami. because I do want to address that. I want to address that because that's why I always ask these people and all that their end game. Because again, I didn't mention I've been holding off because I'm letting uh, Yanga and MD get it off. But I have two friends that lived here in America, and they always send me video clips of the police in Tanzania. They walk around with whips, whipping people. And my shout out to you probably remember old girl Yanga from Kenya. They walk around
That
with
they
whips
sent
there
back.
too.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I
Hmm.
forgot the sister's name. Damn, what's her name? The
And
singer.
Tunde. What
Yeah,
was her name?
well, Tune, no, not Tune, but the other. Well, she be singing the one that you sing. With me and you, it was me and you, Unk, and she got it and she was performing. Sister, man. Damn, you probably don't remember her
I know
name.
who you're talking about. I know you. I
Yeah,
can't remember her name though. I do remember
yeah,
who you're speaking about. Yeah.
right. So she sent me clips about how the police there be walking around with whips and just they done got into a frenzy where you just start whipping people. Go around whipping people, just whipping them. Just man, they got that whipping fever. I'm gonna whip you, and they got it in Tanzania too. This is all black, but I know you gonna bring up neo-colonialism, but
Absolutely.
neo-colonials
Absolutely.
were walking around with the whips. So yeah, I'm just like
Hmm. I mean, you're gonna go, but that's the whole point. It almost goes to what MD is saying. Colonialism is the same thing. It is your in that position of authority. You're taking the place of the people who had colonized you, who had oppressed you and suppressed you, and you feel like that's what you do. I remember the Revolution of Algiers when we studied that, and they said after they got the French up out of Algeria, they had two revolutions. After they got the French out of Algeria, they said the revolutionary leaders were worse than the damn French, and they had to have another revolution to get them Negroes out of there, or to get them Algerians out of the position, the seat of power. Unfortunately, a lot of what people do are learned behavior, and they feel like this is how they have to maintain because this is the system that they have been put under. You know, um, Vision, having a vision or thinking outside of the box, man, is really a humongous thing. And I don't think we know how hard it is. I don't think we really know how unoriginal we are at times. We're afraid to think. I don't know if we're afraid, but for some reason we haven't thought outside of a certain type of box. We stick to what we will believe it works. We'll slap black on it, or we'll slap some Swahili terms to it, but essentially some of it is still the same tactics, actions, and philosophy.
yeah. But what's the first thing that Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson throw up when something?
When what?
Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, when something like this happens, what's the first thing that they throw up and say?
I don't know. What is it?
The constitutional rights.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
you love or hate Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton, that's the first thing they throw up, their constitutional rights. But then we got Negroes in certain spheres of YouTube talking about, oh, the Constitution, oh, it doesn't work, this and that. But we need well, I guess this really goes back to the insanity. This goes back to, like, okay, is it the document or is it the people? Because right now we're talking about people. We're talking about the police officers that like got the nigga mentality, the gang mentality, whatever you want to call it. But so do we stop having the police? Do we defund the police because of you know of this situation? I mean, how do we? So I know we talk about neo-colonialism again. Yami, join us, man. You're making some good points. I can't keep up with your comments. Join the panel, and Yami, if you can. That's just my 2 cents. I want to throw in there.
Well, yeah, again. So, but if you have a crab in the barrel mentality, that ain't gonna never change. One, whether it's a position where anybody feels like they're not even authority, but their position is beneath yours, that'll never
Yes.
change. So the real question is, how can we not only see ourselves as equals within the society, but equals amongst ourselves? Until that happens, you this ain't gonna stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what's up with that. Oh, who dropped off?
No. Oh, that Yankee. Yeah, he's in the port
Oh,
sector.
okay.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be back home, man. Yeah, man. Shit. But yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. I didn't even know about the situation, man. Damn. Shit.
Yeah, like I said, it's a brutal video to watch. I ain't gonna say
Right.
it ain't, but it's important to watch. You know what I mean?
So
And if you just hear the conversation that they was having, it sounded like you and me at the liquor store somewhere. You know what I mean?
right. Oh man, so I'm assuming they all got charged with what?
Oh yeah, they charged all five of them with right now was murder. Right now, like I said, I'm expecting that to change because I don't think all of them you can put equal charges on all of them because a couple of the guys never hit him. You know what I mean?
Right,
But
right, right.
but at the same time, you have a position of authority where you could have stopped it.
Right. Right.
But okay, so then there lies in the police code. If you do that now, you take the risk of you need some backup. They not gonna come back you up.
But like I said, that's the dynamic of this. With these dudes being not only five black officers, but five black officers that are knee deep in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
You know how is the police union gonna take this? You know what I mean?
that's right.
We already seeing the outright. So last night, they did I ain't gonna necessarily say riot, but they did some high level protests. Not only in Memphis but New York. They had they reported some damage in New York.
Oh,
They
shit.
reported some damage. So it was some widespread protesting going on around the country. But of course, you got your typical BLM, Black Lives Matter. But how can you play this dynamic in this situation where it's involving all black people?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the critical plot that I was talking about. How can you spin this politically into a Black Lives Matter situation?
Right. Well, I don't know if you could. I don't even know if it, I've always felt like that Black Lives Matter was a distraction to the real advancement of black people anyway.
It is.
You
It
know,
is.
so that's that whole thing there. You know, That's how I've always looked at them. So they will further dilute the issue. I will still go back to and even with the piece that you brought on MD, I totally agree. I will always go back to the point that once you accept some of these positions of authority or that you believe are authority, you begin to divorce yourself from the causes and the attachment to the black community. So they may have been from Memphis. They may, all of that may have been part of the community. But when they took those jobs, those government jobs, they divorced themselves from some of the issues that we face. What's up, Inyan May? Shouts out to the dark side. What's going on, brother?
Peace. I'm just listening in. I mean, this is like my number one topic right here.
Right on.
Like number one.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I'm always looking forward to your insight or, something that you're going to share. What's your take on this whole thing?
All right, I'm going to go with first the officers. They must see a whole lot every day, and I know they do, and then they become desensitized. They become desensitized to what they are there for. But it all stems from we see each other, how we see blackness, how we see black people.
Come on. There you go. Yep. Because if they was niggas before they were police, they're going to be niggas after that. Now they just have the authority to kill one of us or think they do and can get away with it. But you're absolutely right. If they didn't value black life in the beginning, it's a wrap. Ain't nothing worse than a nigga with a gun, whether he got a badge or not. They talking about defunding the police. I'm going to start a campaign, disarm niggers. Not black men and women, but the niggers. We got to disarm the niggers. Shit.
Right, right. But that's a tough part too. Like I'm really working on a poem. Well, it's a philosophy, and it's saying to be or not to be a nigga. That is the question. And it's
You got you got to say it in poetry form, and you're like, to be or not to be a nigga.
right. So what I'm saying is, so many young people use the word nigga now, but do they understand what they're saying? Do we understand what we're saying when we use it? You know, it's to me, it's a real important conversation because I think we use it and we don't understand how we got to the point to where we use the word so commonly.
They don't target hotties. No.
You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. Listen, I'm old enough to know exactly what you're talking about to make the distinction. When I was coming up, clearly you did not want to be a nigger. You would
Right.
even offended if black people called you a nigger. I ain't no nigger. You know that when I was coming up, that was an insult. You know. I think one of the things that happened, and shouts out to Tupac, man. You know that's my guy. But I think in an effort and an attempt to elevate us to, what's the words I'm looking for? I'm sorry, you guys. Words are failing me this morning. To instill some sense of pride in us, and I think that he tried to redefine nigger, and
Yeah.
it went
Yeah.
too far. Niggas took that and ran with it. Not black people. Niggas actually took it and found it as an excuse to remain in a nigga state and
Right.
not
Right.
be what Pop said. Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. You can scream that shit, but if you're
Right.
not living that philosophy, you're a nigger hiding under the
Right.
guise of a nigga, as
Right.
Pac
You
would have
have to.
explained it.
Right. Right. You have to. You have to live that idea. But we lost that. We lost it, and then we glorified the very culture we was trying to that he was trying to better ourselves from, even himself. It's almost like that Du Bois double consciousness. Like you want to do better, but at the same time, you might be in the street and you might need that culture to survive in the street. And I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's
we see
true.
that. I don't know if we don't see that dynamic. Just like a woman who finds herself, man, I need some money. My kids need to eat. I'm gonna go prostitute myself just to make some money. And we might look down on that, but that's a person making a decision in the moment. And we don't see
Mm-hmm.
how our black culture plays into all of this. So
Hmm.
so if we looking at the thugs and we saying, man, them are just some niggas.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just saying it, we're not thinking, but what produced this culture? What produced
Mm-hmm.
these young people in the street doing what they have to do? Because just like Yankee was saying, I can remember coming up listening to, we would steal the record player, the records of our parents to listen to
Mm-hmm.
Richard Pryor. Richard
Oh, I
Pryor.
remember those days.
Oh yeah.
on
And he was
volume 3.
yeah,
On
he
volume
was like
3.
one of the first people, and besides our uncles and father, you didn't hear somebody make jokes using the word nigga. It was Richard Pryor. And
Yeah.
then it became Eddie Murphy. And the next
Right.
thing you know, it's niggas with attitudes. You're like, yeah, I am a nigga.
Mm-hmm.
I wish
Mm-hmm.
a nigga would mess with me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so we started to get this attitude, and then even we made a song. I'm down for my niggas, but I hate them other
Mm-hmm.
niggas.
Your niggas, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we
But
start getting this duplistic attitude about the word nigga, and I think we became desensitized.
mm-hmm. But I would totally agree, and I think part of that was by design, because even when NWA, to me, in my opinion, of course, used the word nigga, it still was in somewhat of a rebellious connotation, because
Yeah.
like you said, that was at a time when nigga wasn't as widely used as it is today. And even when you listen to their music, especially the first NWA albums, it was still socially conscious. Fuck the police, straight out
Right.
of
Right.
Compton, you know what I'm saying? Boys in the hood. It was explaining conditions that why they called themselves niggas. They was like, look, you call us niggas? Well, guess what? We niggas with attitudes. We ain't
Right.
just
Right.
niggas. We got attitude. So it was still
Right.
kind of, it was a street political, social conscious type of thing. And we've taken that and made that a badge of honor to be ignorant as fuck. You know what I'm saying? We're using that excuse.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm a nigga.
Yeah.
No, I'm a real nigga. And all that other
Yeah.
monkey ass
We
shit.
we it's all we commercialized
Wow,
it
perfect.
because
Wow.
yeah we now I came up in the '70s, so my uncles and my OGs came up with people out of the '60s. So man, I can remember trying to walk with some of the gang members, and someone like, "Dude, go do your homework or go shoot some free throws." But you ain't, you don't belong around us. But they were still cool with me. If something went down, the OGs would take care of me. But they saw something different with me, like I could play ball. Like, man, if you want to play ball, you make sure you do your schoolwork, but you don't need to hang with us because we gotta do some shit you don't need to be involved with. It was a difference. It was a
That's
difference.
facts.
But
Facts.
right, right. But what I think what happened, I can remember being bussed out of the neighborhood. So it's like so I would get bussed out of the neighborhood. We go to these white schools. The kids that couldn't make it in the white schools, they for some reason they wouldn't take the shit. You know, you had to go to the black schools in the neighborhood, and to me, they alienated black society. You had one group that's able to make it out, and then another group that was alienated inside black society, almost a unspoken segregation. And this is where NWA was coming from. You call us niggas, you call us thugs, and like you said, we niggas with attitude, meaning we gonna get stuff done in our neighborhood
Right.
by any means necessary. We got to sell drugs,
Mhm.
whatever we got to do to make it, we gonna do it. That's where this the NWA, the niggas with attitude, that's where it came off from, and then it was commercialized. Man, you might not even live the life, but you was on there talking about how you a real nigga. It just
Right.
became so. I'm saying all this to say is that even the cops would look at somebody who's not a thug, somebody who is not into that life, but because they become so desensitized, they just see a nigga or a nigger. And so it's easy to do that to somebody that you don't see full humanity in. If that was a white kid from the suburbs, would he have got that treatment? And that's the question I ask.
That's a good question. I like to go back to like what you were saying though. It is the whole man, like you said, that perception of the nigga thing. And to go back, because I was one of them, I used to bang. I was one of them dudes you talked about. When I would see the little homie, because I dropped out of school. I said, you know what, I'm a full-time gangbanger. That's it. I'm gonna die doing this, And so
Right.
but we would see, but like it was social, cultural, political conditions that made us feel like we had to click together to do that, to run our hoods, but we still aspired for more for our people because, like you were saying, when we seen the little homeboy that could shoot the ball, I run the ball, I could draw, I could sing, we would encourage him. We would kick ass. Look what you doing now? You ain't in school, and kick
Right.
your butt and send you to school because we wanted you to get out of the hood. We wanted you to be the one to escape. We knew we had willingly chosen this fate. We was like, yo, it's over for us. But for you, homie, you got too much going on to be out here. And like you said, we'll throw fists for the little dudes. Who's messing with you, little homie?
Right.
Now we don't, it's like, goes back to what MD said, crabs in a barrel mentality. Now we don't want anyone to succeed. We don't share success. It was a time we shared success. When we saw a
Right.
black man made it, we all rejoiced in that black man's victory. We'd be like, yo, so-and-so, Muhammad Ali beat his ass, or this and that ran the rock and he broke this record and he shot the basketball and he's, broke this record. And we celebrated black achievements and accomplishments. Now it seems like, if a brother make all that sellout ass nigga, this nigga that, I mean,
Right.
our whole mentality towards that has changed. I would agree with you.
Right.
Hey, let me ask you a look.
Okay,
No,
okay,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
So let me ask y'all a question because y'all way older than me, right? So when did that culture?
Way older. Hold up.
Yeah. Y'all way older than me. I grew up in the 90s. Y'all grew up in the 70s. Y'all way older.
Oh
than
yeah,
me.
you a baby. Yeah, you a baby. My bad.
Y'all
You
way
ain't
older
no
than me.
You ain't no
It
crackbaby.
is what it is, man. I mean, accept it, man. You old.
Hey, listen, you calling us older than you. You know, as old heads be hollering, y'all crack babies though.
Yeah. But
You like, yo, ladies,
so I guess the question would be when did that nigga culture transcend out? Because like Blackson, you grew up in L.A. and Yanga, you grew up in Cleveland. Like y'all had certain aspects of y'all community that me living in old school Atlanta didn't have. Like I didn't see a Puerto Rican until I was like 17, 18 when I went to New York. I thought it was just something on TV. You know what I mean? So when I went up there to my cousin and I started hearing like Puerto Ricans saying nigga, and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, who you calling a nigga? But I didn't know no better because I didn't grow up around that. You know what I mean? Like those,
No, we didn't play that. We didn't play that. We didn't play that coming up. You could not be black and use the word. It's just, to me, that's a new phenomena. When I see these Mexicans and fighting and stuff, and they, what's up, nigga? What's up, nigga? That's a new phenomena. When I was coming up,
and
you
I
weren't
guess it
black,
started
you better not use
I
it.
guess I started in the 90s and the early 2000s because it was widely accepted when I went to the Bronx. But it was a system shock to me. I'm like, hold on, wait, who, like you letting him call you a nigga, cuz? Like what's going on? No, it's cool. No, it ain't cool. But that's me growing up around black folks, and not even at that time, not even Mexicans was around. You know what I mean? Not in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So when did that transition? What did the hip hop culture have that much of an influence where it was able to transcend outside of just being black and being a
Yes.
nigga as we know it?
Yes. The music is that powerful.
Absolutely.
It's that powerful.
Especially when you have, because the music's powerful, but we have to look. I first got hip to the music game when Ice Cube left NWA. And they were going back and forth. And I'm going to buy the Ice Cube album to see what Ice Cube got to say. I'm going to buy NWA to see what they got to say, and it's back and forth. And then I looked, the distributor was Priority. So it isn't just the rap music, it's the distribution, Sony, Priority, Warner Brothers. And when you put out a certain type of music, they no longer begin to support that. We have to understand now, our taste in music didn't just change like that. It's when you look at it, we have to look at what they would push and promote. How did we go from Rakim and Public Enemy all of a sudden to NWA? The distributors. I remember Tupac was saying one time when he made a song about Jews, they didn't play that, but they would play everything else. In fact, look at Michael Jackson's song, They Don't Give a Damn About Us. Kick me, pinch me, sue me. It used to say Jew me, but they had taken that out. So they were very selective about the music they played. So while you had these people like the Reverend Calvin Butts and C. Dolores Tucker back then going against the rap artists, nobody said anything to the distributors who pushed that type of music. And it's like anything, if you pay us money to do it, and we're an impoverished people, if niggerism becomes profitable, then I'm gonna be a bigger nigga than anybody. If I can get money for being a nigga, watch me Flavor Flav your ass to death. I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna be the biggest nigga because that's what pays. It's like
Y'all Flavor Flav.
when y'all make it, a lot of, I ain't gonna say the bottom line, but a very big point of it to me is like what Nyame said. It became commercial. It became profitable to be a nigga. And we can watch the television now and see it. We very rarely do we have any progressive black programming. We got Sisters, Atlanta Housewives, this, that, Love and Hip Hop. Where the progressive positive black imagery like Bill Cosby had on the Cosby Show. And as soon as you have somebody that created positive black imagery like that, all the way back to the Cosby kids, I grew up.
But then black people took it too far, not even properly condemning him for all the dumb shit he did. Because people still forgot, like, he cheated on his wife. He wasn't that person. That shit didn't even mean nothing. Because what happened to that man, or what that man did, or the decisions that he made.
But Gynocracy, we're some of the only people that do that. Why our entertainer can't be entertainer? He's not my preacher. He's not my prophet.
That's not the whole. That's not the point. But you're talking about, like, you know, the Bill Cosby and the, like, what?
Well,
like,
I'm talking about positive. But why are
you can't say that no more? That's that's over. That's canceled.
So Gynocracy. Why are you worried about his bill? We look at the price. See, we the people that do that. White folks celebrate they traders. Look at Benedict Arnold.
You crazy? No.
No, listen to me. Check me out. We tie everything.
But based off what we go through, we should know better. You know what I'm saying? Look how we came into this country. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what are you talking about? Of course, hold on. Of course, they're going to condemn us a little bit more. So that means that we should be on our shit. I'm not going for that neither. Your black ass knew better. Your black ass know that you can't do that with your black ass. You doing it.
So we have to walk on eggshells. That's what you're saying.
Right.
So we shouldn't have to walk on eggshells.
So we shouldn't.
It's not about walking on eggshells. It's about,
it is Gynocracy. It is what you're saying. What society? It's the society. It is not. It is not what it is. It's what you make it. You the one that go in. Somebody give you a good product. Like, you don't do white people like that. You go to hold on. Hear me out. Do you go to Walmart? Do you go to Walmart? Yes or no?
Hold on, my computer was being slow. I was
okay.
Say, yeah, I do go to Walmart.
Okay, what did Sam Walton do? Did he cheat on his wife? See, that's what I mean. You go buy white products and don't give a damn what they do behind closed doors. Let a Negro put something out there. Oh, that nigga right there cheated on his taxes. Why? Why do you hold us to a standard that you don't hold any other people to, but you'll go spend with them, you'll patronize them, you'll kumbaya with everybody else. And the first time a Negro cheat on his wife or do something that you deem immoral, you want to destroy his livelihood. That man's body of works has nothing to do. I don't worship Bill Cosby. I don't know him personally. That was the
first thing you said, and you could have said any other black barber.
What other one? If I'd have said James Baldwin was a great writer, somebody that came up, oh, that nigga was a punk. If I'd have said this and that, there's always something with something. You can't, in black community, if you ain't Jesus Christ, you can't do nothing for black people. You know what I'm saying? If you won't walk on water, they don't want nothing from you. Yet they'll take everything from the devil and don't hold the devil to an iota of accountability or morality. And that's the point I'm making. His body of works.
I just don't think a good image mean anything when they'll put that on display and black people just can't get it right because we can't figure out that certain things we just can't participate in when we on the spot.
I'm saying, what is bad about a... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
I cut
ahead.
you off. Go ahead, Quinn. That's what I'm saying. I mean, okay, yeah, he did all of that foul stuff. But when I'm a child coming up and I see a black doctor, father, a black mother, lawyer, these great make-believe kids and all of this make-believe world and this is why I say positive imagery. It was so positive, it was hard for niggas to accept. Oh, ain't nobody no lawyer, ain't nobody no doctor. Don't let black people live like that. We can't even, our psyche.
That wasn't what was really happening for the most part in the time anyway.
It's television. It's television. It's make-believe. That's what I mean. If you're gonna do make-believe, why wouldn't we have if we're gonna do make-believe, why wouldn't our make-believe be utopic? You know what I'm saying? Why do we want to see more nigga shit that we can open up our bedroom window and look out in the street and see? You know, if we're going to have something to offer and provide an escape, I would love for it to be positive and very utopic in concept. But we have been so beat down that our minds it's like the Matrix. I don't know if y'all seen the Matrix. Remember when Agent Smith told, I think it was Morpheus, when he had him, and he said, the first time we tried to give you a paradise, we tried to give you humans a perfect place, but your minds rejected it and you kept waking up. Our minds reject the possibility of us living those type of lifestyles and having that great positive life. And to reinforce that for us, they will turn around and dehumanize, denigrate black character. And then and I didn't have a problem with what they did with Bill Cosby. If what they and then here's the problem I had. Now here's the problem I had with it. They come find out none of this bullshit. But anyway, I didn't have a problem for a man paying for his crime. I had a problem for them destroying his body of works. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know Bill Cosby, the real Bill Cosby, based off of the Cosby
how
Show.
I feel about it. I feel like people, whether it's bullshit or not, he put himself in that situation, and that's just how I feel about it.
He did. He put himself in that situation. But why should we as black people suffer? He suffered. They locked him up.
I don't feel like it's suffering for him. It's many positive black images. Like if you,
I'm saying, okay, but I mean, why do we have to make that choice? Why do they make that choice?
Yeah,
they don't make. We don't put them on the thing to make that choice.
But I'm not white. I don't give a fuck.
At the time that Bill Cosby came out,
Bill Cosby, I'm like, man, that's fucked up. What's the new? What is the title to his new comedy show? A good time or something, or it's still a fun time to be had. Stop. Like,
so let me ask you this. The charges that Bill Cosby were accused of, and even did a little bit of time for. What happened with those? What happened with the charges that were levied against?
They're still coming out with charges, child. They still coming out with charges.
I mean, they let him out and stuff, though, right? Is he out of jail?
Yeah, he back on tour.
Okay, back on tour. So what happened to all the charges that they had locked him up for?
What do you mean? What happened? I forgot what happened.
Didn't they drop him, or didn't some of them?
No. I mean, he got time served.
You being sarcastic.
He got time served. I mean,
yeah, he got time served. So I mean,
okay, so that's what I mean. So he did his time. This and that. Why is his body of works? Then Charles Manson still writes books. You see what I'm saying? I mean, like,
ew.
Why are you attacked? Here's my thing. If I say about us as a people, we have to grow up. We have to stop looking for having a messiah complex. Just waiting for somebody to come down to be all perfect, and when they take a boo-boo, it smells like roses and potpourri.
And I'm gonna tell you this though, white people, hold on, let me say that white people sometimes they have an issue with like they serial killers and they most sickest people. They put them on a pedestal and be like, oh, they was fine as hell, and all this other weird shit.
They crazy.
Like, so,
they crazy.
Yeah, like it'll be a whole campaign and shit like that. Like it's too much. Like it'll be a whole fandom. Not a campaign, like a whole fandom. A whole fan base and shit like that. Motherfuckers start writing fan fiction stories or based off this one. Like, yeah. So I feel you. They is right for him.
That's what I mean. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not championing.
It's not real.
Yeah, I'm not advocating Bill Cosby, and I'm not championing him as a human being and as a person. But what I am saying this, as far as collectively to the black community, his body of works, he produced good, positive body of works. Now you got some people that
but it's always nigger shit afoot though. Why you know what I'm saying? Why you trying to make a separation between nigger?
No,
shit
it is a separation. It is a separation for me. But it's a separation for me because absolutely. But here's the separation for me. I'm gonna tell you why I do make a separation, because I prefer you be a nigga in your personal than professionally in the world. You know what I'm saying? And what happens now? We celebrate motherfuckers being niggas globally. We celebrate niggerism globally. I can't tell you what to do in your personal time, in your bedroom, in your house. If you want to be the biggest nigga in the world, eat watermelon, fried chicken, smoke blunts, and drink grape Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Which some of those things I enjoy.
Yeah. Now it's to the point where it's in reverse. It's where folks that's really not niggas are being portrayed in the image of being a nigga on TV.
Right.
Online. Online. They ain't never bust a grape. They ain't never bust a
See
head.
what I'm saying?
They online playing games. Acting like
that's the commercialization of it though.
Right. Like Inyame said, right. And that's the point I'm making. We have to but people who put out the images like Bill Cosby, we'll destroy the positive image and we allow the commercialization of niggerism, of negative black images. We allow that commercialization. And then somebody that put out something positive because he did some nigga shit in his personal life, we want to destroy the body of works. They still bumping Young Thug. They still bumping a lot of these rappers that call women bitches, that advocate dope selling and murder, and so they niggas in their music, in their global imagery, and niggas in their personal life, and we don't say nothing about that. And then here, this man was a nigga in his personal life, which I think whatever comes to him, he brought on himself. But his bodies of works did not possess niggerism. Uptown Saturday Night with Sidney Poitier and stuff like that, man. I mean, come on, man. It's as an actor and as a see what I'm saying. So I think we have
some of y'all don't remember that when the news would come on, we would hate because they would go to the worst person in the neighborhood, and it always showed the worst side of black people. But now we glorify.
Interview the most ignorant motherfucker.
What
and they would interview the most ignorant motherfucker. What happened? See, saw the condom, and he. Oh my God, I used to hate that. Yeah. See, but that was a time. That was a time when we all were collective. I used to couldn't even watch Jerry Springer. If I watched something with a nigga being ignorant on it, it would make me feel uncomfortable because he was being ignorant. I'd be like, look at this nigga here. You know what I'm saying? Now we're divorced from that.
Now we got the camera and we glorifying it. We putting it out.
Not Jerry Springer, y'all fucking thing. You know, for like a whole hour. They seem like forever. Bitches just start taking off their shirt on the show. Niggas ain't even have nothing to talk about. It used to be a little bit organized at first. You feel me? Yeah. Like, most of the show, I'm like, bitch, I can't even see nothing. That's number one.
but I know this is gonna seem like but it's called epistemology. Well, white people call it epistemology, and it means a knowledge base. Black people, we used to have a knowledge base to okay, this is black culture, this is what we do, this is how we do it. And now to me, we look at the closer we get to whiteness, that's the more successful we are.
Absolutely. And that's in anything we do. You remember in Yame, it used to be a time you could watch the news, and if a crime happened, you could immediately tell what race it was. Baby found in the oven. You'd be like, them white folks that burned that baby again. You knew it was certain stuff we didn't do. But like in Yame said, we following this white man so closely, even in his immorality and his crimes. You watch the news now, you don't know who it is. You just hope it ain't a black person. You be like, oh my God, don't let a nigga pop up here on the screen. God damn it, there you go. You know? So, yo, I'm telling you, I'm like MD said, I'm way older than a lot of y'all, so y'all have to forgive me if it's just hard to accept. Hey, listen, I gotta run, but I'm traveling. I'm in the midst. I'm packing. I'm doing a lot. If you guys are still on here, when I get an opportunity, I'm gonna jump back on. Shouts out to the chat. Shouts out to everybody, man. The Arena Uncensored. And yo, I get up with y'all when I get the opportunity, man. Peace.
Peace,
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know Younger was a Bill Cosby fan. He was up here crying. It's like, no.
Yeah, but you have to understand, Bill Cosby was huge.
I kind of agree with him a little bit. He right.
Bill Cosby was like the hell. I don't even know how to compare the moves on that level now. I guess.
You can't even compare.
No, you can't. I was
how big he became.
Yeah, like he's black and wholesome. Hold on, because it's so much. Man, I was just having that discussion with a friend. Like, they were saying that they don't even watch black comedians no more because they feel like now it's just complete tomfoolery. Like they always trying to just embarrass black people. Like that's what comedy is now when they do their stand up. Because I feel like even Dave Chappelle, I feel like he took it too far. Like, why are you messing with them trans people? And you already know what it is. You making, it's not like in his jokes, he was trying to be so edgy. It's like you expose yourself even further. Because he even had a segment when he was talking about he wanted to have sexual relations with one of them. So I was like, so what the fuck is you talking for? You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Then he made too many pedo jokes. I said, you never used to be on that.
Hey,
you know,
listen, can I interrupt real quick?
It's gone too far. Like, he used to be so funny to me. I mean,
Go
he used
ahead,
to make
Gang.
everybody. Dave Chappelle.
Because I gotta.
What you say?
I gotta go. I gotta go. But when I was getting off, I heard you say something. Guy not gonna say, I can't believe I never knew Yango
I know. I
was
was
Bill
just thinking,
Cosby.
I was trolling Yango.
Yo, I gotta say so. I gotta say one more thing before I go. Then, hey. I love the Fat Albert, baby. All right, man. Peace.
At least you admitted it.
Y'all are too wild for me, man. I can't fuck with y'all.
He was just not playing about Bill. I said, oh wow, we got a fan. But no, but yeah, about Dave, like, I don't understand why his nigger shit got so dark. Did y'all see that shit? You ain't see Dave come hard to the point where he had made pedo jokes.
Yeah, he making pedo jokes now. I guess. I mean,
He said, okay, so when he was talking about the whole trans thing, right? You know how he was being edgy. He was trying to be edgy about Michael Jackson. And he said, what's the little boy from Home Alone? He said it would have been cool if they was fucking back in the day. You know what I'm saying? He said they would make a great couple because Michael Jackson was the shit. And he was the shit, basically. Like, and I was like, what does that have to do? Like, why is this your jokes? And that was in that stand up he had did where he mostly throughout the show was just leaning on trans people. But I was just like, you just slid that in there. You know what I'm saying? You making people who so-called against that look weird. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't know what that was about. It just gave me, you know what I'm saying, real agent vibes with that shit. I said, yeah, he canceled in my book. So you know what I'm saying? We should cancel shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people still fuck with him the long way today. And I don't think Bill Cosby not ready to come back out. He probably might say some edgy shit, but not like that. So yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, Yanga, I kind of agree with you, Ryan. Right, a little bit. Like, you know, I'll admit if I'm wrong. I'm not.
I don't think that you're wrong. I mean, I think to each his own. I mean, everybody has,
No, I'm saying I see it from his perspective too. Like, I kind of agree, and I never thought about it like that. Like that.
I gotta see this Dave Chappelle thing. Yeah, because I haven't seen it. Last time I seen Chappelle, he was in his backyard doing stand-up. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, that is kind of dark.
Yeah, when you get a chance, Blackson, too, take a look at that police footage, man, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Right. Damn.
Yeah, because I was cooking when y'all had started talking about I had to feed the baby, but
what's what?
I didn't. I'm talking about the what is it called? Tyree Nichols or Nicole?
Tyree Nichols.
Tyree Nichols. I can't keep up, man. It just seemed like it just happened so much stuff like this, and I stopped reading.
What is your take, MD?
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, man. It's a situation where a nigga is in a position of authority, and it's a thin line between culturally still being a nigga and having said authority, especially in your own neighborhood. You know what I mean? And if you go back and watch that footage, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Because after the fact, like I was telling Black Son and Yanga, they was talking like they was on the corner. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you know, it's a hard video to watch. I ain't gonna, you know. So viewer discretion is advised on that. But yeah, man. I mean, they beat the hell out of that man. Like they killed him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's tough. After I left Long Beach, California, I moved to New Orleans, and New Orleans is predominantly black. And I know y'all don't remember this, but they had a police officer who was running drugs and prostitution out of his police car.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and somebody ratted him out, and he's so dumb. Oh wait, hold on. He was making phone calls to put hits out on people that ratted him out.
Wow.
And like MD was saying, he was talking like he was on the street corner. I want this nigga dead. You kill this bitch. And he was using other police officers as his hitmen. And this is a black police chief. 90% of the police officers were black. So, and this was in the 90s. This was in the 90s. I remember that.
I remember that.
You
Actually,
remember?
they got a documentary on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like here in Atlanta. Here in Atlanta, Blackson, if you remember, Derwin Brown, the Cobb County.
Yep, I remember.
When they put the hit out on the sheriff.
Yep. Yeah, they were both running, weren't they? They were running for office or something. Yeah, I remember that shit. Oh, God, I remember that shit.
So I was just saying that I got my taste of like being in New Orleans where black people running stuff, but they still have this negative mentality towards a certain group of black people. You know, especially in New Orleans, because you still have that mulatto thing kind of secretly going on, hiddenly, where the mulatto types were closer to white. And like in New Orleans, there's a lot of old money. Like even though it was a black city, white people will run the city by putting black people in positions of power that they was comfortable with. So you still had these degrees of acceptance in New Orleans. And then you have what you call the niggas, the poor people, who was treated like trash. And you can see that clearly in New Orleans. Not so much after Katrina, things have changed big time, but what you guys are talking about with these 5 police officers, you get into a position of power and you forget where you come from. You forget why you was even supposed to be in that position. So I didn't hear Black Son's take on it. I don't know if Black Son spoke about it. What you thought, Black Son?
Well, based on the descriptions, I hadn't seen the video yet, but like I said, I have seen other videos. You know, it's oh man. Based on the description, it sounds like, of course, like neocolonialism, you know, and that's why I always ask, you know, the end game of people who want to form nations, you know, I want to make sure that, you know, if we do a nation outside of America, we have to be better than America. We can't go backwards and be worse than America. We got to be better than. So that's why I say, okay, yeah, the Constitution is you know, that's why when you had Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton running around when this kind of stuff happened, the first thing they say, and I mean, you know, is, you know, their constitutional rights were violated. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so,
right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the first thing that they yell, but you gotta, you know, and I always tell these Hebrews and these people who want to form their own nation, you got to come up with a documentation that is better than the Constitution. Right now, we can look at that document and say, well, you know, what document right now, as of right now, is better than that document? Because like I said, you had Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton using that as a basis to show how these guys are violent. You know what I'm saying? And because of the Constitution, you have an extension of the human rights violation. You know, so we have to look at this thing realistically in order to in order to deal with this type of behavior, because this behavior actually transcends over into Like I said, Tanzania, it extends over to. I'm saying, so yeah, it's a global problem, you know. So yeah, that's just my take. That's my 2 cents for
that. Yeah. To me, it's unfortunate. I always thought that black people embody like the words of the Constitution, and somewhere along those lines, we removed ourselves from human rights, and civil rights, and equal rights for people, humanity. I don't know at one point when that wasn't the center of black culture. So something happened.
Well, yeah, man, I always argue that we made. If you got white people running around saying America's the greatest country in the world, we as black people made the greatest country in the world with the civil rights movement and Malcolm X, with our struggle, with the Black Panther. We made it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't.
Right. 100 years before the civil rights, if you go back to 1866, right after the Civil War, everything we was fighting for in the 1960s, we had already won in the 1860s. We had already fought for those things.
Right.
So we embodied all of that people don't understand. Okay, all these rights that everybody enjoys, women,
rights,
the foreigners coming in, we had already put the work in for that. But
that is
get no credit for it.
You know what? Damn, that's a good point. We don't get credit for it.
It is a good point.
Right. To the point where we dismiss those things as black. Well, because you and I, we know about that. You will have black people in certain communities dismiss that. But no, we got to take credit for what we have done. We helped mold the greatness of this country. We helped mold that. Black blood has been spilled for that. We have fought in every single war since the goddamn Revolutionary War. So, yeah, we've helped create that greatness that America talks about. Even, you know, y'all might even agree with, let's make America great again. Yeah, that's a lot of that was a black molding that has happened. You're right. Even black people, we don't want to give credit. We always want to look at the worst. And we don't want to look at what white people, because no, white people didn't make those freedoms great and all that. They came from a place like England. They came from Europe where that shit was just as it was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
Well, even early America, the Constitution that they wrote was for white male landowners.
Right.
And that was it. If you go back and look at the Colored Convention, this was before the Civil War. We was talking about civil rights, and human rights, right, and how people should be treated. I mean, we were centered on those ideologies, and that's what I talk about. What true blackness is. A true black epistemology, a knowledge base, where we always fought for human rights and civil rights. And it seems like we took that out of our mindset. And it just became about money. Now we got to go out and make money. And that's good. We need to make money, but also those laws that are there to protect us. As you said before, we fought in every single war here, right, and every time we fought, it was, freedom was the centerpiece of it.
Right, absolutely.
It was the centerpiece. And that's what we should be known. That's what black people should be known for. That's truly our history.
Right. You know, when I'm damn trolling these white folks, I make it known, you know what I'm saying? But I guess, yeah, but at the same time, black people have to recognize, our contribution to these freedoms also. But yeah, I'll let white people know quick. No, it's not that great freedom. It's because black people did that. And then when they start, once I throw up like people like Malcolm X, Taliban, or they get quiet. They had no more to say because they assume that I'm another white person. When you talk all this shit, and when I start throwing in the contributions of black people, they get quiet. You know what I'm saying? And of course, these be the white liberals, the ones that want to be the social justice warriors. And they always want to be, the ones that Malcolm speak about. They want to be at the forefront talking about, America and this and that and the other. And what I like to do is always just challenge people and like I said, show the black contributions to all these things. So, America's great, black people. If there are changes to laws, like, let me give you an example. The Hernandez, because I got a debate coming up. They had an old law, and you probably recognize this in Yami, because it's the Commonwealth saying if a person died in prison, that they were automatically exonerated. The parents of one of the victims, who was a black woman, she had that change. You know what I'm saying? The black community eradicated. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit was like, dude, that shit is outdated. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's just one example. You know what I'm saying? But there's many, many, many more examples of us making amendments, changes, and all that, and fighting. Like I said, it wasn't, like you said, just civil rights. Even before the 1800s, we made a lot of contributions and strides. We don't get credit. So, yeah, that's just, But I always point that out with every opportunity that I get.
Right. I try to also, and then we champion making those ideas of human rights, civil rights, and individual rights. We champion the spread of that to other nations.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, like in this case, what these officers did, I mean that's a clear violation. I hate looking at it, but I know I have to look at it to remind myself that this thing is still going on. But you said it earlier, it's neo-colonialism. We're doing it. We're doing the bidding of white society with black face.
Absolutely.
Frantz Fanon has a book called Black Skin, White Mask. Yeah, and I still see it happening. We supposedly live in a post-racial society, but it's very covert. It's very covert.
That's right. Not only that, in Yami, damn, I lost my train. Oh shit. I just had that on the tip of my tongue, man. I'm sorry, go ahead now. I lost my train of thought.
No, I said my thing. I was about to get on.
Okay, cool. I say this. I go back to Booker T. Washington's The Negro Problem and Du Bois's Challenge to 10th Method, right? Those were theories and systems that were brought to uplift the community as a whole. Still, I continue to say, until we see ourselves as equal with one another, it don't matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
It don't matter what position we hold individually, because we always gonna look at each other as being notches under the totem pole, right? This is a classic situation, and that's what I was telling you, Blackson. Even with other government positions like the DMV, how many times you go to the DMV and they don't give a damn how long you wait, and then you go ask about it, then it becomes an attitude issue. You can equate that same situation with this. You know what I mean? Even from the most minuscule of position, we see it as a leg up on another Negro. You know what I'm saying? So at what point, despite what position we have, despite what tenure in whatever said position that we have, when are we going to start to equate a social status with being equal amongst ourselves before we can even think about being equal, have the equal foothold in the country as a whole. You know what I mean? And that's something that just manifested through us not getting our just due from the onset. and I always say, and I will continue to always say, it all goes back to us being repaired justifiably through the federal government. Until that happens, this will continue. Again, it's not going to happen in our generation. It's just not. It may not happen in our children's generation. But once we can get that reparative justice from the eyes of the nation as a whole, we'll never be equal, let alone with the country itself, but against one another.
Right. That's a fact.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but I wholeheartedly agree. And I wish
I know that was tough for you and y'all, man.
But I lost my train of thought. But I don't see it happening no time soon. I don't see it happening no time soon. And to me, I don't know if it ever will happen on this soil, because even now, you know, we used to consider ourselves like second class, but the Latin community has surpassed us.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they're never going to recognize that. They're never going to recognize that we need, because they're going to look at it. Look, we had to pull ourselves up by bootstraps. We had to come here and work hard. That's how they see it. They don't understand the 200 years that transpired before they got here. So that's going to be the difficult part. You got to get past the new generation of white people, the new generations of Latinos, and then I even think that Asian, they're growing. And I'm not just talking about like the Chinese, but the East Indian, you know, the Japanese, the Chinese, all of that is a growing population in the United States also. And along with those people coming from Africa that don't know the history also.
That's right.
Right.
So as time goes, it becomes even more difficult.
Again, it goes back to what we were talking about yesterday, Blackson. Politics is all about gaining pieces on the board, whether they be large or small.
That's right.
Again, the demographics from a wealth standpoint have already exceeded us. And we the second largest block. So what's going to happen when, you know, it's time for a clamor to get these said blocks, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, like you said, politically we'll be obsolete, but hopefully we can, before that can even take place, hopefully we can get reparations to at least, and I'm glad you was telling Trevor, man, it's not the be all end all, it's just, but it gives us somewhat of a leverage. But see, they were looking at it like, oh, you know, reparations like to solve relationships. It's like, no, but they're missing the point of, like you said, as far as like the political leverage. Even though, you know, okay, so if they eliminate us as a block, then at least we'll, like, okay, for so like take the reparations will be some of the landowners, business owners, so we gotta look at it like that too, you know what I'm saying? So we have to evolve into another type of block. If they, you know what I'm saying, if we no longer, okay, the Democratic Party, okay, the black vote is no longer important, so we got to, man, but that reparations will allow us to evolve into that, you know, like I said, okay, well, you know, at least we'll have, it won't be all of us. But, you know, you will have a segment that will, you know, will have access to, you know, land ownership, house ownership, and like, you know, I know, you know what I'm saying? It'll be one less that we got to deal with, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and so the disaggregate will be that your dynamic in terms of how you're looked at from a governmental standpoint in terms of policy. Yeah. That'll change, because right now you're not looked at as a policy driven bloc. You're looked at as basically, if the Democratic Party, in terms of how they run their format, is a flu shot, the black voting bloc is the booster. You know what I mean? You're not. It's no benefit per se to your vote. You're just there to boost the numbers. That's all we are. There's no policies driven specifically for us.
Right.
Because they don't have to. You know, like the civil rights movement basically ensured. Look at it as an agreement. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're willing, you know, and that's not no shade at the civil rights movement, because that, you know, that was a great feat.
Right.
In terms of our advancement here. But you basically get, it's like it's almost like life insurance. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna pay it for the rest of your life in terms of giving you your vote. You ain't gonna see the benefit of it because you're gonna be dead after the fact. But the little money that you do get after you're dead to your beneficiaries are so minuscule that it's to no effect of your overall wealth as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Equated to the black voting bloc. Now, if you're talking about a voting bloc, again, that's what we were talking about yesterday. The Asian community, in terms of numbers, is very, very small. But we're talking about one of the wealthiest voting blocs in the country. So how can I gain over your vote in terms of how you spin and how you articulate your positions in the country? You do that by policy.
That's right.
And that's how you get policy. Same with the Mexicans. See, with the Mexicans, it's different because the Mexicans are in the same boat that we are in terms of being a policy-less bloc. But their numbers are so great where it's going to be your erasure, like I was saying yesterday, where your bloc will become obsolete.
So then let me ask you a question. So when they go after the Asian votes, very good point. Do they go after them as the Asian community? Or, I mean, I know they had the thing with Jesse Jackson when that girl shot the black girl. So, I mean, what do we, or they had something with the Asians. So if you wouldn't have an AAPI community right now if it wasn't policy based, you know what I mean? Okay.
What the hell is the AAPI?
Okay,
Asian American and Pacific Island. They even put the Samoans and Hawaiians in the mix.
That's right.
So how do you get that without trying to pander for their participation in within the format?
Right.
All throughout COVID, that's all we heard. AAPI. Asian hate. What the hell is an Asian hate crime bill? And they based it all off all of these instances where they were showing black people randomly beating up old Chinese ladies. And then you had the situation in Atlanta where the dude killed the rub and tug people in the massage parlor.
So what I'm saying is so you saying reparations would, let me say this, okay, because so we agree that they're a small block, but they were very effective,
right?
Because of the economical stance that they have, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
The same with the AAPI also includes the Indian American. So I mean, you can roll them all in one bunch. But like I said, in the Indian Americans per capita are the richest people in the country. You know that, right? The richest over white folks. You going in and out, Blackson. I don't know if that's me.
No, that's me. That's me. That's my damn mic. Because I'm charging up my damn Bluetooth. So I'm on my hoopty. So I apologize. Damn.
Oh no, you good.
Yeah, that's my hoopty mic.
But yeah, again, like we were saying yesterday, politics is based on who can scrounge up the most demographics so they can win said race or whatever. If you look at last year when we were having the runoffs and the general elections, if you look at the map, the vast majority of this country is considered red. Why is that? Because in a lot of these rural areas, the Republicans pander to the conservative, quote unquote conservative Christian centered right white people. We all know that. Whereas in your more concentrated areas, everywhere around the country, it shows blue. Why is that? Because those are your more progressive.
That's right.
And when we say progressive, we're saying progressive based on the industry within said concentrated area.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So you may have come from a small town, but because of your education and things of that nature, you move to these concentrated areas for said jobs. And what happens then? You may have been an outcast where you grew up, but now you're more in a centered focused society where your way of life, whether it be sexuality, a more progressive mindset in terms of race, biracial, whatever the instance may be, now you're in that's where you get progressivism from.
Yep.
Now you're in a more concentrated area where your viewpoints, your thoughts, your ideologies become more mended or more skewed amongst the people you live in because you're in a concentrated area.
Mm-hmm.
So is we think of these places as if they're blue or red, but in actuality, it's just a mending or obscuring of ideologies that are in a more concentrated area.
That's right.
And what happens in these concentrated areas, we usually get kicked out because we have no policy in which to create any type of community for ourselves.
Man,
All right, peace, y'all. I gotta run. I'll catch up with y'all later.
thanks, Yami.
All right, peace, Yami. Yeah. Yeah, you still going in and out, Blackson. But yeah, I'm about to get ready to head out too. I didn't know if I thought you had to work today.
Nah, so the site we went to was all muddy and one of the trucks got stuck. So once that happened, I said, oh no. I turned it around.
yeah.
They sometimes they send us to these little bootleg sites and shit, and yeah, it was somebody's backyard. I'm like, oh hell no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm about to get ready to get up and start running some errands and whatnot. But yeah, I'll probably be available later on. Actually, I'm about to get ready to message brother Tali. I may be headed over there later on.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got a show?
Talk. Well, I want to talk more about this whole Tyree Nichols situation. I'm pretty sure Tali's gonna have his take on it.
Well, send me, yeah, man. If you go down, send me a message through Facebook, man. I'll be there. Hell yeah.
All right, no problem. Yeah, I'm about to get ready to message him now. So, and everybody that's listening, man, if if I'm available, if Talik's available, be on the lookout for live on that later on today on the Reality Temple on Earth. But other than that, yeah, man, I'm about to get ready to head out and run some errands and try to get some stuff in. Peace to the chat. Peace to everybody that was on the panel today, man.
Wow, go get a new mic too, man. Yeah, this thing is had it. I'm not gonna do it, Trevor.
I got you. All right. All right, man. Peace, y'all.
Like I said, we're gonna close it out, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Nope won't be live today. What? Okay. Shout out to African First. You're okay. Twin. Shout out to of course. Shout out to Nyame, of course. Shout out to Twin. Shout out to Enzi. Shout out to MD20. Shout out to Yanga. Shout out to Trevor. Shout out to Venkat, man. Shout out to everybody. And with that being said, we out, y'all. Later on. Yeah, y'all go to Angel's. Like I said, when he has a show, I'm going to definitely go up there and find more about the situation. All right, y'all. We out. Peace.
The Arena of Six.